Alright, so I'm looking at incomplete records and an ordinary level question on this. Just very briefly about incomplete records, to start with. The book here mentions that there's two main methods of dealing with incomplete records: control account or cash account method, or the net worth balance sheet method. That first one is sometimes called incomplete records A, and the second one is sometimes called incomplete records B. You might see it referred to in some places. While there are two different types on the course, it's really only this control account method that comes up on the ordinary level paper, okay? And it comes up quite a bit, all right? So the control account method comes up as a 100 mark question in section 2 every couple of years, okay? I would say in that section 2, interpretation of accounts or ratios comes up pretty much every year. Cash flow comes up pretty much every year. And then after that, it's kind of club accounts and this that are the most common section 2 questions. All right, it comes up as a 60 marker sometimes, but it's the 100 mark questions that we're interested in, and it comes up quite a lot. All right, the second method that I'm talking about hasn't come up on the ordinary level paper in the last 15-20 years, so I wouldn't worry about it, okay? I would just look at this control account method, all right? There's nothing too new in these questions. It's kind of pulling stuff from a couple of different places, and they're going to remind us of questions that we've done before. The idea behind these is that instead of keeping proper books of account, keeping proper records and presenting you with a nice trial balance at the end of the year and asking you to prepare the profit and loss and balance sheet, we're dealing with a company where they haven't kept those proper books of records. They're not giving you a trial balance at the end of the year. They're going to give you information about cash receipts and cash payments, so money in and money out. And they're going to give you then information about assets and liabilities at the start of the year and the end of the year. And using that information, you're going to piece together the final accounts, the profit and loss, the balance sheet. There's just a couple of things that we need to do before we can do a profit and loss and balance sheet. So here's a typical question. They give you cash receipts, cash payments, so money in, money out. And they give you information about assets at the start and at the end. And what you are asked to do is, and this would be typical of a 100 mark question, prepare a statement of capital on the 1st of January. Find his total purchases and total sales using control accounts. Prepare a trading profit and loss account and prepare a balance sheet. So before we do the profit and loss and the balance sheet, we need to do a statement of capital, and then we need to do a bit of work to find out what his sales and purchases for the year were. Okay, so I'm going to start with this statement of capital on the 1st of January. And this is like the accumulated fund we've seen on club accounts. It's like the statement of capital that we've seen on service firms. So this is very like stuff that we've seen before. Okay, so we're literally just going to list all the assets and all the liabilities at the start of the year, subtract one from the other. Okay, so the place I'm going to get this from is down here. The following information is available 1st of January, and here's a list of assets and liabilities. So we're just going to put these into the statement of capital. Okay, so they will be listed here. So here it is, the 1st of January, here's the 31st of December. So it's the start of the year, it's the 1st of January I'm doing these for. And they're all going to be listed here, bar one that's always listed. It's always included up here as well that we need to go looking for. So just looking through these, I've got land and buildings, that's an asset, motor vehicles, asset. I'll start putting them in then. So statement of capital, 1st of January, assets, first one, land and buildings. Is 1092,000. Next one, motor vehicles. And that is 88,400. Next up, we've got debtors, 13,520. We've got creditors, that's a liability, so I'll put that when I get down to liabilities. Stock then, that's an asset. 15,990. Expenses due. So an expense that I owe, that would be a liability as well. Okay, so just before I close off and total up the assets, the one I always will find up here in the cash receipts and cash payments is the opening cash balance. Okay, so the money they have at the start of the year. So you see here cash receipts balance 1st of January 2020, 9490. And if that's listed up with receipts, that's an asset. So that's money that we have. So you can call that bank or call that cash. We'll call it cash. 9490. So that won't be listed down here, okay, with the assets. You'll have to go looking for that up here, so always remember to go looking for that one. All right, the other two down here then are liabilities. So that's all my assets. So just add the 5 of those up, and they add to 1219 400. Then I've got my liabilities. And they were the creditors and the expenses due. So my creditors are 74,620. My expenses due are 676. Add the 2 of them and you get 11,986. And then it's just assets, take away liabilities. 1207,414. And that's statement of capital. That's my capital on the 1st of January 2020. All right. So you are asked for a statement of capital on the 1st of January 2020. So you go to these lists of assets and liabilities on the 1st of January 2020, you put them in the correct place, either assets or liabilities. Don't forget to go up and look for the bank account to appear. That will go in as well. Assets, take away liabilities is your capital on the 1st of January, and that's that first bit done. Okay, we're going to use this number again when it comes to the balance sheet, but for what we're asked to do now, that's us done. And I'll go on and do the next part in another video.